So, hey everyone, I am Pavan, fourth year dual degree student at IIT Madras. I also work as a consultant for Node.js, the best JavaScript team on GitHub. So, I'll be giving a demo about Flatiron. Before jumping into the demo, let's talk a bit about Node.js and frameworks. Okay, there used to be an old saying, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. It's a old cheap philosophy, especially in these times where Twitter and everything exists. You can debates and everything going on Twitter, but it still applies to the software world. Node.js, yeah. First thing I want to tell is Node.js is not a nail. It's a sparse platform. Its main purpose is to bind JavaScript to operating system, some of the operating system functions, not all. And it's doctrine agnostic. It generally doesn't subscribe to the beliefs of other programming languages. So generally a developer is faced with the problem of where to start when they want to write a Node.js program. And the main thing to remember is it allows us to very easily build network applications, not web servers. Web servers is a subset of network applications. Node.js allows us to build all types of network applications. A lot of developers, they use Rails and Django and other things. They want to come to Node.js and they are searching for web framework. They spend their time 100% inside a web server. So they want a nail. Express is an excellent nail. Yeah, it's an excellent nail. It takes a particular problem of solving HTTP web server, HTTPS web server, and it does it very good. You can hammer the shit out of it and it still works. But Node.js is not a nail. That is what I said, right? Node.js is not a nail. We need frameworks. So what is framework? Framework are, they have these features: dependency injection, interfaces, configuration, conventions, everything. There are two types of frameworks. Monolithic framework. Monolithic framework is something like Rails, they take a narrow set of problems and they solve it. It's more of a hands-off, out-of-the-box solution. You just do it. You just install it. Type some commands and write some small code, and it's finished. Yeah, conventional configuration. The problem with Rails is it doesn't decompose well. You can't evolve it. There are some scenarios in which you need rolling requirements, and there are new libraries coming: Spidey, Socket.io. Spidey, right? How many of you know Spidey? Okay. Spidey is a new type of HTTP, new protocol which is even better than HTTP. So Rails can't handle those. Whereas the other type of frameworks, composable frameworks. Composable frameworks, they use Unix philosophy of pipelines. I don't know the guy's name, but one guy said for Unix pipelines, write only one program and write it well, then join all the other programs. It's like input, there is a black box program, output, then pipe the output to another input, like that. So composable frameworks use that philosophy. They have a separate component for router, middleware, templating, configuration. Rails has all of this intermix, right? These composable frameworks, they don't mix at all. They are separate component. They just route the output, most probably using JSON or sometimes text or some other data types. Flatiron is a composable framework. Flatiron has all the makings to roll out your own framework. If we have we have like separate components like union, which is a middleware, director, which is a router, nconf configuration, plates, templates, resourceful ORM, like that. You read about those, you combine them, and you can make your own framework. We provide a default framework, but you can make your own framework. Okay. So before, let me just search into my computer. The current average lifespan of internet technologies is very less. Every 2 years we get something new and we change it to that. Okay. So Flatiron is designed so that it can adapt to each incoming new technology. So now I will be giving a demo on Flatiron. Remember, I said Flatiron is not the only, it doesn't only provide web applications. It's like any application, any network application, and you can make your own framework using Flatiron. First, we need to have Node installed and npm. Okay. So after this, you install Flatiron using a global flag. It's already installed on my computer, so I'm not installing it now, as it will take some time. So it installs a binary named Flatiron. So it has commands: create an empty template, generate version. The current Flatiron version is 1.11. Okay. So currently we provide two types of templates, CLI and HTTP, and we are going to support new template types like socket.io and other things, but currently we have CLI. So let's create a CLI application. Create, you can use create or you can use new, and the application name, let's say, okay, Jitsu, and the application type CLI. So it creates a folder Jitsu. It creates a directory configuration and commands and test. So now let's go into Jitsu. App.js, you can see that it requires Flatiron, and yeah, basically this lib commands directory, it contains all the commands you use for your CLI tool. What you get, you just write a file like maybe user.js, include it in the lib commands folder. Then you can have like this app. Let's say this app name is Jitsu. Okay, this app name is Jitsu, right? So if you type Jitsu user, the lib command.js executes, and it will have some helpers from this Flatiron app module. And we also have plugin system named Broadway. It's a standard it uses standard dependency injection, and Node Jitsu guys already wrote Jitsu CLI config, Jitsu CLI users. What you do is, if you install Jitsu CLI config, it will have all this like Jitsu config, Flatiron CLI config and Flatiron CLI users. If you install those two plugins, you can have your command name Jitsu, config, set, delete, list, all the things you see, right? Some CLI tools have config, set, delete, these things, and users. users is like users forgot register, login, logout, who am I, like those things. You just need to put that in your package.json and install it. Okay. So now I want to talk about creating a web application, HTTP application. Flat.
Your Wi-Fi is down. The Wi-Fi goes off. That's why you're not able to connect.
Okay. So Flatiron, new. Let's say we want to create a blog. As you can see, it creates a directory blog, assets. In assets, you have image, style sheets, JavaScript, something like Rails. Just the directory structure, not the design and everything. Helpers, resources. We use RVP structure, resource view presenter structure. You can read it in a Node.js blog. There's a post on resource view presenter. Rails is MMVC, model view controller. Okay. So using resource view presenter, you can make the application isomorphic. Unlike you write a code, you just configure it. If it have to be server or client side, we will automatically take care of it. So we have helpers, resources, presenters, views, and in views we have layouts just like in Rails, and we have configuration and environment configuration. You can see that we have config env production.json, development.json. Okay. Now let's go into the blog. We start this server. Okay, we have to install the Flatiron. Okay. It starts on port 3000. We don't have, it's just plain template, so we don't have any roots, so we can't see any. I'm like, it says error, it gives not for error. Now okay. Now we have this Flatiron generate command, which generates different types of things. It can generate API, only API, not views and anything, or assets, helpers, presenters, resource. Scaffold is API plus views.
You don't get a stack trace.
Yeah, we'll get a stack trace. I'm like, if there's an error. I'm talking about something like which crashes the app. 405 just logs into the log. Or you can yourself write a stack trace for this. It has everything like nice plugin system. So Flatiron, you can generate help API. Creates REST API for the given resource. Pass the resource and list of property. Creates app presenters post.js, app resource post.js. So let's create a small API. You can use G instead of typing generate. User has name and age, which is a number. Default is string, and he can have many emails, which is an array. Let's go with that. Okay, generate API. So it wrote app presenters user.js, app resources user.js. Okay. So you can see that it requires Flatiron, then app presenter users, the defines app presenter users, which has all these actions: index, create, show, update, destroy. This any action which is prefixed by an underscore will not be an act. Any function which is prefixed by underscore will not be an action. And there is one function, one property which is before, prefixed by an underscore, which just like before in Rails, which executes the get for everything except index and create actions. So let's go to index action. First let me show you the resource. This is resource. It takes engine and options. Database configuration. Our default database configuration is CouchDB, and we use localhost and everything for the options. It has name string, age number, email array, just as we typed in the CLI. And
I have a question. So you showed that actions, 10 different actions.
Yeah.
So how are they mapped to? So let's say if I have to map those API as a
Yeah.
RESTful.
yeah, I'll tell you. There's config routes.js. You can define the routes, custom routes, and everything. So let me first tell you about the actions, and then we can see the routes. So index.action, it should list all the users. So app.user.all, and data, it returns the data in a callback. You just forward it to resource.json. It will send the JSON headers and just JSON pass the data and send it. Create. It takes the data. It takes the data from post and creates it and returns a 201 and the data. Show gets executed. This underscore get executed before show. What does underscore get do? It takes the ID and returns the data. We have to definitely do this callback here because it's async, right? So we need to make that synchronous here. So we have to do callback. Now this sends the data of the user. Similarly, update and destroy, it sends to not. This is standard API, right? So let's define the routes. Config routes.js. We just give a small template. You can use this, right? Okay, you can define something like that, and start the server. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. There's an empty array for now. I had posts already in my database. I just changed the user in. Okay, let's create a post also. Flatiron generate API post name and content. Now add it in the routes. There are many custom routes. We can do this also. This starts. We can define a scope. We can define a scope, admin, something like that, and this dot API. Now we have posts. We can also define a route to in Rails. Post and index. Similarly, we have get, post, put, delete, match, some other things. You can check out the documentation. And okay, let's start the server. Node app.js. Okay, the route is routed to posts index. We have all these three posts in my database.
So where is it connecting to now? So which database is it?
My local host. You can change the configuration in config.json. or you also have development
So does
production.json.
this got support only for CouchDB or we can connect to MongoDB or?
It uses resourceful ORM, and ORM has support to Mongo, React, and other things. Or you can write something yourself. It's very easy. Okay. So as you can see, it has this. Now let's go to post. It doesn't work because I scoped it with an admin. Admin, right? Admin post. This is index, right? You can also have get ID, post ID, which is like there's an ID third, so that object will be sent, and you have put like update, create, and destroy also. There's I can show you, but no, it works basically. So let's talk about views. Flatiron, generate, presenter, pages, page, and let's say it has home and terms of service. So it creates app view space directory, home.html, tos.html, and page.json. Let's write this home.html. So default is this.
So has this got any template engine or something?
Yes, it has plates. The main advantage with plates is it's plain HTML. You don't have any DSL. I mean, like in Ruby we have to put some separate, what is it? Greater than sign, percentage symbol, and everything. It is just plain HTML. We'll map it to it automatically. I'll just show you an example. Span ID equal to name. Name is too generic. Let's say hello name. Span close name. Okay. We'll change the root to make it match and send it to pages, home, page, home, and that's all. Anything is okay. Now we write the presenter. If you remember, I used a name in the root, so we'll get the name here, and you can save the name. Start hello name, which was the ID in the view name, and this dot render. You also have redirect. Let me start it and go to the root. Okay, it was like a root and some name. Pavan, hello Pavan. It automatically mapped the ID in the HTML to this data. So basically this is the one of the main advantage. You don't have to do any DSL kind of things. Plain old HTML.
So in your presenter, this dot data will have the IDs of all.
Yes.
You.
It won't have the ID. If it has an ID, it will map. If it don't, it just sleeps. Anything else? That's all. You can define custom view set helper. Scaffold creates API plus views. That's all. So basically, as I said, Flatiron. With Flatiron, you can make your own frameworks or use our default framework, and less code. It takes less code to write your app, less time and everything. You can read the documentation at flatironjs.org. Or you can check out github/flatiron. Yes, you can reuse the views. I don't have it now. It's like we are parallelly developing it. This thing I developed just 2 days back. The whole thing. We had components. I just combined them and routed them, pipelining just 2 days back. So everything I showed you was 2 days back. The Flatiron generate commands, app views, and everything. The components, they have been in development for 2 months. We use it in production at a Node.js platform. You guys know it, right? Use it in production. So basically, most of the developers, they look for magical unicorns. Magical unicorn is something like one size fits all framework. They want it to do everything. Just stop looking for it. You won't get it anytime. But you can participate in the natural selection process of GitHub. You see a project, you contribute to it, then that means not only you gain arbitrary internet points, you actually validate that this project is good, and it will get to the top of the GitHub and everybody will use it. Just check out the code of all the frameworks, see what is good, what is bad. If you like it something, just contribute something. Basically, be a hero and 4K framework. And that's all. Any questions?
I think this is exactly like a port of Sinatra on JavaScript framework on Node.
Express.
Yes. This also looks very much same like Sinatra.
Sorry?
Sinatra. Yeah.
Fiber, Sinatra. What? Sinatra is on Rails.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I pretty much see kind of the same everything, the flow, whatever you use, it's like the same like Sinatra on Node is what I can say.
Express is Sinatra on Node.
Yeah,
right?
Express is Sinatra.
But Express has crappy middleware system.
Okay.
This middleware, everything in this was designed for 6 months and everything. They thought about it for 6 months and they designed it perfectly. Middleware, plugin system. Express has crappy middleware system. This middleware system, you just define its name is Union. You can check it out. Basically, middleware is something which does something before it can passes, or does it after it passes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you use a mic, please? Can you pass the mic right there?
So what is from Express middleware?
I don't know. I didn't try Express, but TJ, TJ Malavaja, yeah, he himself said that it's scrap.
Well, I'm not really sure it's scrap because as per your what you're saying about the middleware taking some input and passing it on to the next one. That's exactly what even Express and Connect are doing.
Yes.
So I don't see why should that be scrap because that's being implemented in Rails also. That's being used in Express also. that's being used in Connect.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much sure that the same principle is also being used in this one. So, why exactly do you think is it not worth, or why is it crap?
I don't know. As I said, he himself said, I just follow the wisdom of him. If you have any more doubts, you can log on to IRC and ask my colleagues, Paulo, Mara, and Charlie. They'll clearly explain it to you. So, any more questions?
So I usually use a lot of gems when I work with.
Yeah.
If possible.
How do you do that?
As I said, we have a plugin system. Once this gets good, and like once we release it big or something like that, we'll have some plugin system. Like we'll have commands like Flatiron install plugin name. It will just introduces a plugin name into your package.json and some configuration. You can configure it and it will use the plugins. Basically, it still needs time to develop all the plugins, right? It's just starting out. But we have a good plugin system.
So the Flatiron itself is 6 months old. Is that what you're saying?
No, the coding started like 2 months back. Like we have been thinking about it like 6 months. Like what? Sometime just like. So any more questions? Okay, thanks.
Alright, let's thank the speaker.